What's up, people? How y'all doing? Okay, for the most part, when people post videos, I believe that they do so with the best of intention. Um, I don't think that no one posts anything, knowing that it's fraudulent and put it up. But anyway, I have to make a correction, and whenever I see these videos, I have to make that correction right as soon as I see it, because I don't want people getting some information from this group that's going to put them in danger. In my opinion, because this is my group, it's going to go by my opinion. Um, a brother said, if you are in an engagement and you've discharged your weapon and you have to move to another location, that not to do so like this. Not to do so like this. You're to do so like this. I guess, put your hand up here, I guess. That's how you would do it. The reason he said that you shouldn't do it like this is because someone could press charges against you because you muzzled them. South Carolina, that would be considered pointing and presenting. And New York, that would be aggravated assault. But I've done my research, and I'm experienced in this shit. I don't recall anyone ever pressing charges on someone because they were engaged in a gunfight, and while doing so, they may have muzzled them. I've never heard of that happening, but that's the concern the brother put out there. That's the total reason why he put that out there, that you should have your weapon up here as you transition to another vantage point to re-engage the threat. I don't know where he got that from, but please, people, don't be out there doing that. And I think that sometimes people get things from competition shooting, and they try to put that in with self-defense. And this is something that I'm going to stand on this. You should not get training from a person who's a competition shooter for a self-defense situation. Don't do that. They're going to be doing things. A young lady in the group, she was at a competition shooting. And when she went from one target to the other, she had the firearm behind her as she ran to go to engage the other target. And that, I said, why did you do that? And she said that was a safety precaution as to why they do that. And that is something, I can understand that. You're in a competition shooting. You're not worried about somebody in front of you shooting at you. You're not worried about that. So there are things that competition shooters will do, going from target to target, that you will not do going from to another vantage point to re-engage a threat. Pay attention to that, people. I don't want to be redundant, but pay attention to that. When you engage a target or a threat and you bring your gun in, it should never be at this angle. It should be at a 23-degree angle. So you're not shooting yourself in the foot at a 23-degree angle. Your hand is still on your weapon. And if you're concerned about muzzling somebody, when you take that firearm up, you're putting it at your head. And just saying that gives me chills. I would never do that. And if you're concerned about muzzling people, sometimes a lot of you guys are in urban areas. You got tall buildings. So if I'm engaging a threat and then I'm taking the gun up, taking my hand off of the gun and putting the gun up to my head, that's dangerous, bro. That's dangerous. And not only that, if you fire 3 or 4 rounds, some people don't wear hats, and you putting that gun up to your head, you might end up hitting your head with that hot barrel. And when you're shooting, you're never trained to go from here to here. You're always trained to go from here or here to here. From here to here. And again, look where that gun is positioned. 23 degrees angle from your body. So that you can go back up on target. I don't have to worry about putting my support hand back up on the weapon. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying that a person had to have been in Vietnam in order to train you, or survived 27 years in South Jamaica, Queens, in law enforcement in order to train you. You could get, somebody could tell you the same thing that I'm telling you, and having never been in those situations. I've been in those situations. And I'm not going to put my firearm up here as I move to another location to re-engage the threat. I'm not going to do that. Time, taking my hand off of my weapon, and I'm not concerned about someone pressing charges on me because if I pulled my weapon out, I had a deadly threat presented to me. And I discharged my weapon at that threat. And I reassessed my situation so I can re-engage the threat if necessary. I'm not concerned about somebody pressing charges on me. I've never heard of that before. Like I said, I don't want to be redundant, but I've never heard of that. And that would not be my concern. My concern is putting that threat down, making sure that that threat is neutralized. You know, I'm checking my 6, of course. My barrel is still pointed at 23-degree angle, and even if I have to turn around, there are maneuvers that I could do that's going to address that threat in back of me. But that's another story for another day. But I would never take my firearm off of the threat and put the firearm up in my head to move to another location to re-engage the threat. I would never do that. I do not suggest that you do that. And I suggest that when you get your training, and I'm not saying nothing bad about competition trainers, competition shooters, because they're fast and they're good. And because they're training, more than likely they're training with someone else that's going to train them in self-defense. Self-defense shooting and competition shooting are two different platforms. If I want to do competition shooting, I'm not going to go to someone that specializes in self-defense. I'm going to go to someone that specializes in competition shooting. There are levels to this shit. Please be careful out there, my brothers and sisters. Peace and blessings to you all.